Hey, we're live.
Ooh, we're live. How's it going, Pokemon fans? Ottawa Senators are facing the Toronto Maple Leafs. January 1st.
Yeah, we
First
got a
game of the year.
little rivalry game. We wanted to
Yeah.
do a little live stream. We haven't done a little live stream in a long time. Last time we did one
hmm
was the draft, I think.
Playoffs. And then the draft after.
Yeah, yeah,
And that
you're
was
right.
it.
And that was it. So we're here for the Ottawa Senators Toronto Maple Leafs game, little New Year's Eve game or New Year's Day game. Sorry. Um, not no arenas, no fans in the arenas. I don't think
Nope. You're not allowed to be there.
not allowed to be there. So we're here for now. And this won't be a live viewing of the game for you. This is just a watch along. So if you have the ability to watch the games, illegally or otherwise,
Yeah, there may be a link, posted down below or two if you want
yeah,
to.
if you don't know about certain website, let us know. It's down in the
Do you,
description.
you had a problem with this, Ryan, with my foam finger? Got a problem, huh?
I don't have a foam finger.
You know what? I'll take it off if that makes you more comfortable. I see you have a problem with it. To reveal Ottawa Senators glove. Oh yeah, check that out.
I have a Marley's foam finger at home, but I don't have a Leafs foam finger anywhere. Kind of funny.
Oh, you have a problem with my foam puck hat, Ryan? Huh? Huh? I'll fine. I'll take it off if you're such a coward. Then to
Oh,
reveal my Ottawa Senators toque.
you got your sensed up. Oh my lord, I love it. That's awesome. So we have a couple live trackers here that we're going to use as the game goes on. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to work at all.
First, we'll be live tracking it with our eyes and be providing, that kind of commentary on what's happening in game,
Hmm.
which has not started yet.
No, not started as of yet. It's going to go to our stream. I just want to see. My goodness, can I log out of our account to go to mine? That's something I
No,
can do. Okay.
no.
That's okay then. That would suck if I did that
Yeah.
midstream. Uh-oh.
Oops.
Yeah, that's not what we want.
Nope.
Just going through the projected lines. There's a bunch of guys out for Ottawa right now. Right? Josh Norris is in protocol still. A couple players in protocol, but I don't think the
Mm.
Leafs have anyone in protocol. Or they do. I lied. They have Timothy Liljegren in protocol.
Mm. Well, I'm happy to see Brandstrom. He is a guy that's on the block. I feel like Ottawa wants to move him, and it's a game for him to get a good look.
Marek Strutek, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining us. Watch some hockey with us tonight. We're just chilling. We haven't watched a hockey game on a channel in a long time since the Stanley Cup
Yeah.
final, if I don't correctly. So that
Hmm.
actual hockey game. So should be pretty chill.
And of course, Matt Murray in net for Ottawa.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is that good or not good?
Uh, nobody knows, which I think is the ultimate trump card.
Peter asks, hey guys, a little off topic. Who do you guys see getting picked higher after the World Juniors, Slavkovsky or Kemmel? Ooh.
Emil.
Yeah, my knee jerk reaction is Kemmel, but I think it's gonna be closer than Alex thinks it's gonna be because he
Yeah.
hasn't been as high on Slavkovsky as I have been over the last little bit. I like Slavkovsky. I think he's got some serious potential. But Kemmel could shoot, so like he has that going for him. Whether doesn't have the
hmm
Slavkovsky doesn't have the same caliber of shot, but
Yeah, the same offensive prowess that Kemmel has. I think Kemmel's skill is just too elite. That Slavkovsky doesn't have anything that Kemmel comparatively offensively. Like the tools are just immaculate on Kemmel, and you can't. It's hard to give up on that at in like the top five
yeah,
in the
they're
draft.
both going top 10 for sure. Like I'd be shocked if either of them dropped out of the top 10. But there's still a lot of year left, so a lot of year left to see exactly where all these guys fall. I'm curious who ends up two. I think there's been a lot of discussion over the last little bit whether Wright still deserves to be number one. I think that's kind of insane to think that he doesn't deserve to be number one, but I'm curious who is bumped up to number two because that spot keeps changing.
I think after the World Juniors, I don't like to let people like prospects drop after just one tournament, 2 games. But
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of them rising in a tournament, and Simon Nemitz, amazing, and just based off of his game, against his peers at like the same level. In Slovakia, it's a little bit harder to tell. I really liked him. I think that he might take first overall for me if Shane Wright's not careful. He better watch out for me.
I'll use the Sportsnet live tracker for now.
Thank you,
The
Peter.
one I'm used to. I honestly don't see the right hype yet. The thing with Wright for me is that he along with a lot of OHL guys, obviously last season didn't have a season last year. He didn't play, so his slower start, I'll chalk up to that. But you're right, he hasn't
He has a
had
lot of skill.
yeah, he has so much skill, but he hasn't had the production of like a typical number one overall pick, which is why people
Hmm.
are questioning it at this point.
Yeah, when you look at like where his ceiling could be, you look at Connor Bedard in the same tournament, you're like, well, that guy's ceiling could be, incredible. Wright has, he showed off some skills. Like he didn't like play bad by any means, but like he just didn't stand out as like a guy who should go first overall.
I just lost my stream for a second. That was almost lucky.
Hmm. I'd hold it down. Don't worry.
Uh,
Rest the game has not started yet.
Dropping you volume, but Alex getting some
Oh, okay.
feedback from the other. I like Bedard, but I think Michkov overshadowed him at the Michkov. I mean, Bedard had a 4 goal game, but
Yeah.
it was against Austria, so like I'll throw a little bit asterisk on it. But yeah, the two of them are going to be 1-2, depending on if whoever takes Mishkov is okay with him staying in Russia for a little bit. Um, yeah, the two of them are definitely 1-2 in that draft though.
Hmm.
Can Rackuse crack 40 goals this season? I think he can, 100%.
I think you hope so. Yeah, with Bedard and Michkov showed like a different type of skill. Bedard showed, a different type of sense. Like they all showed like, they're very different types of players, even though they're like the same size, you know. And the way that like Michkov moves the puck, like he showed you even in the KHL that he could just like, dance around people. So that's like, the second best league in the world. So he's already like NHL ready. He has NHL caliber talent right now. And we're not so sure on Bedard. So like, I don't know, maybe playing against him and, is going to be much better for Michkov long term in the future. And I like them both. Hard for me to pick.
Yeah, it is really hard for me to pick as well. We are. Yeah, can Matthews crack 40 goals? I didn't really. I said yes, but I had him actually predicted in my like hot takes video to score 60. So it depends how many games they get in. If they get all 82 and Matthews continues to be hot, like he started a little slower in the year, but has been really, really hot lately. He's been at a pretty high pace. I think he's been at like a mid low 50s goal pace. Yeah, the Bedard is definitely amazing for me right now. Michkov is number one. If we're talking from a purely talent perspective, I think Michkov. I right now at this point when they're both 16, 17 years old, I think I'd take Michkov first. But Michkov is going to be in Russia for 3 years after he's drafted, so depends depends how they want to deal with that.
I don't think so.
And the
I
game
think he
has
signed that
started.
long for money, and I think that he's just going to terminate his contract with the KHL, and that's it. He's just going to sign here, and
Yeah,
he is
unless
so
they're
good,
able to
he will
do
make
that.
his money. He is able to do that. Just like you could do that in the NHL to go to the KHL. It's really not as big of a deal, I don't think. I feel like
Don't they have to
scouts maybe
like
put a lot of
sue
pressure
the
on it.
KHL for players or something? Like for their rights?
Yeah,
Like
because they
that's what
don't
happened with
like
Pavel Bure back in
respect
the
the
day.
rights. Yeah, they don't respect the rights, but like an NHL team will pay whatever fine they need to for Matvey Michkov. And he'll want to come over because they'll pay him money for it. They'll be like, here's all the bonuses and more than you made in Russia. I think he just made that long of a contract so he could sign and make a little bit more money now.
And Crispy Toast name. How do you think Andre Kasha will do Riley or Tavares? Um, it's the first game back in a long time for both of these teams. I think the Leafs last played on I want to say the 18th against
Mm.
Edmonton. Maybe it was the 14th. It might have been earlier than that. But like it's been a few weeks, so they might be a little bit rusty out of the gate. But I imagine that the Riley and Tavares, Kasha, I think they'll all do pretty well tonight. Toronto on a power play early off in this game.
I feel like you can always rely on your elite guys, your top six guys, when they're as good as Matthews and Tavares to be that good,
Yeah.
when you need them to be.
But I wouldn't be shocked if the first period here is a little bit
Hmm.
rusty. Not
And,
gonna lie.
Ottawa was playing pretty good hockey coming
Yeah.
into the break. So I know that they want to come out with a lot of force and be like, hey, like we're a competitive team. We could be a playoff, team. Whether they are or not is, we're yet to see.
Yeah, and if you can't tell by what we're wearing, I'm the Leafs fan and he's the Sens fan, so a little bit of a rivalry game. We got all the information on both teams. If you have any Ottawa questions, the guy. Good puck movement early on. Toronto,
Hmm.
anyway. Oh,
The
I'll widen
passes
down
aren't,
nice.
the passes aren't like connecting as well as they hope, but you haven't played in 2.5 weeks. That's okay.
Yeah, it's not as crispy as we'd like it. I might can. If I just added something to this
Brandstrom,
screen.
Brandstrom on the PK. I like that. They're giving him a good look.
Sorry, Alex, I'm messing around right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm messing
And
around. We're just gonna bring the live tracker here. Was gonna have it. Really like that.
I like it.
Why not? It's cute. Oh wait, I don't have to have as many screens going at once.
Mm-hmm. Ottawa last played December 18th as well.
A couple more questions. Hey lads, a bit off topic, but which 2022 prospects stood out to you from these two World Junior games, maybe apart from Lambert? Do you have any answers to that? Me and you were talking a lot about Simon Nemec from Slovakia, Alex.
Mm-hmm. I really liked Vinzenz Rohrer, who plays in the OHL right now. He's on Austria. I thought he stood out. Everybody talks about Marco Kasper, but he was a great prospect himself, and I thought he stood out against Canada, getting shelled, like 11-2 or whatever it was. And I liked Adrian Klein, a defenseman on Team Germany. David Moravec, a defenseman on Team Czechia.
Yeah, there was a couple of good performances from a lot of guys, but as far as draft eligible guys, the guys you said, Simon Nemec, I loved the Brad Lambert redemption tour from him. Played very very well for Finland. That whole line played really well. Sami Helenius, the LA Kings pick.
Yeah, Hellenius really stood out for me. I do like Brad Lambert. I don't think it put him like up as much for me as it did for you.
No, I mean
Uh,
it stabilized him a little bit because he was dropping in
yeah,
everyone's
yeah, he
rankings.
was
So
yeah,
it didn't.
he
I'm
stopped the
not going to
drop,
base it
stopped the
on
bleeding.
2 games or whatever, but
Hmm.
it stopped him from plummeting a little further anyway.
I felt like he used his yeah, he's a bigger guy playing against men and then to playing against kids, and I felt like a lot of his game was him using his physicality and just like a strength and grittiness that like helped him, just like against his peers kind of compete above him. And I think a little bit of like the skill that I'm hoping for, like he didn't like it enough to show off. I didn't get to see him play defensively much either. I want him to play center, and I only saw him cover center on the back check whenever he wasn't covering a puck check, the guy with the puck. So a little bit more. I wish I saw from him.
Yeah, just to catch up on questions here, Sven Peak asks if Campbell plays like this till the end of the season, does he get the Vesna?
Yes.
Yeah. He's a nominated at the very least. But he has what does he have, a 930 right now? Not a lot of goalies can sustain a 930 into the end of the full season, but depends how many games he plays, how many Mrazek gets, if he can continue to be as good as he has been, if the Leafs can continue to be as good as they have been in front of him defensively. But yeah, if he continues it, absolutely, I could see him getting nominated for Vezina. You know what else I could see getting nominated for a Vezina? I think this would be hilarious. Would be Freddie Anderson. Freddie Anderson is playing really, really well in
Yep.
Carolina, and having Freddie, like say it's Freddie, Vasi, and Campbell up for the Vezina, I think that would be kind of a hilarious 3 nominations. Linky YouTube, go Leafs go. Leafs should have 50 points by now, but thanks, go. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately we got donked on by COVID here, but whatever.
Hmm.
We'll we'll reschedule games. We'll figure it out. Toronto on another power play game.
Yeah, it was a tripping Godet on Nylander. Kind of lazy. Didn't have to take it. And you can't give up this much 5-on-4 because eventually Toronto will stop being rusty. They'll clean out all the dirt between the clogs and score a goal. We can't keep doing that. Ottawa doesn't have a shot 5 minutes in.
Who was that defensively there on the penalty kill, holding off Willie? That was a good play by whoever that was for Ottawa.
Was it Connor Brown?
Oh yeah. I swear, Connor Brown needs to stop.
You know what? I got to give credit to Ottawa's defense here. PK's been great. Toronto's only had 3 shots, and this is they're a minute into their second power play, 5 minutes into the game. Like this is all credit where it's due.
Yeah. And if anyone's here, chilling, is new to the stream or new to the channel, you can hit that sub for us. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Getting a lot of content out recently. Obviously, the juniors being canceled sucks for us, but um, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of content here. And leave a like on this stream to promote it. Helps it bump up in YouTube streaming system, which isn't great, but we're competing with another quite big YouTuber tonight for this game, so uh, anyone who likes the video would be super appreciated.
Another good play by Connor Brown
Yeah.
defensively to stop the zone entry at the blue line.
Sandine back too tonight. That's super awesome to see him back in the lineup. That knee injury. Ooh. And he almost created a play there at the end of the power play. Little Jason Spetz a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great to see him after taking that little knee on knee for the break. And end up missing that too many games because of the postponements, but and back.
I wouldn't blame anybody for not watching because the Winter Classic is on right now. I don't know
Yeah.
if
Yeah, we can switch back and forth if you want to, by the way, Alex. Like if
What?
the because it's probably later because they probably have more stuff happening before the actual pucks drop, so intermissions might be kind of staggered. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it. As long as we don't accidentally forget about the Leaf Sens game here.
Yeah, that's true.
Early predictions for the game.
I mean the Leafs are
Having
the better
seen,
team.
hmm I feel like it could be a night for Campbell. Let in 3 on 20 shots, and that could be it. You got to be careful. So,
Yeah, obviously the Sens have played the Leafs pretty hard
hmm
past, so
season series 1-1.
I might see Bobby from Florida sneak in there as a nominees. Yeah, Bobrovsky's played super super well. A little bit of a comeback year for him. Love Bob. Love seeing Bob do well down there.
Yeah, yeah.
And just like seeing Florida do well. Florida's been, knocking on the door for a few years.
Before that, they were knocking on the wrong door for a while.
Yeah, 3-1 Leafs, Sven. Yeah, that's fair. I think. I don't think the offense should be too crazy. It'll either be 3-1 or 7-6. Like it feels like one of those games.
Think it'll be 3-1, but I'm not sure which team gets which score.
Oh, okay.
Mm, Yeah.
I'll take the Leafs, obviously, but
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Sens, obviously.
not sure quite what the score would be. I'll say 4-2.
Ooh,
My score.
good puck track by Matt Murray.
Hmm.
Keeping your eye on it.
Yeah.
The speed of the NHL is just ridiculous compared to the AHL. There's no way as a goaltender that playing in the AHL can prepare you. So I'm just glad Matt Murray's looking good. 5 shots, he's looked like an NHL starter so far.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
not
see.
looking shook.
We'll see a little neutral, little giveaway there by Leafs defenseman. I don't know who that was, but might have been Dermott. Not what you want to see. Little
Almente.
shot on net, little scramble. Who's 33 for the Leafs? Is that Biega? Biega still in the lineup?
I Yeah, resident Leafs fan
Yeah.
here.
Sorry, I'm more talking to myself than I am asking
Oh,
you.
well, you need an expert opinion, right?
Yeah.
Yes, number 33 is Biega Ryan
Yeah. Okay.
on your team.
Yes. My team, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ooh.
He hasn't played a whole lot, so I think he only played 2 games before the postponements happened. So I wasn't used to seeing 33 out there. I'm like, wait. Ooh, good save by
That's a
Murray.
goalie number. Yeah, he has a good reaction speed on a rebound or something.
Yeah, a little behind, little bounce off the backboards, jumped out in front. Do pretty good save there by Murray tracking that puck.
You know, it is hard to look good as a goaltender on a shitty team.
Yep.
And like I can tell having, watched a lot of Ottawa play, Matt Murray kind of like lets it get to his head. He gets a goal scored against him. He's like, "Oh no! Like this is the end of my career. I signed for $6.5 million and I can't live up to it." And doesn't look shook yet. He looks like in the zone, focused,
Yep.
dialed in.
Looks pretty confident right now.
Hmm. And Toronto's put 7 shots on him through 10 minutes so far, and
It's
they've all
been all Toronto so far, really.
yeah, not a
Couples.
single shot by Ottawa.
Who's Ottawa's best goalie, Alex? This Finn.
I mean, like you have to say like Matt Murray just at his best is the best, but when his
Far
consistency is an
from
issue.
far from
Yeah.
his best this year or last year, really.
Yeah, there were times last year that he showed towards the end of the season like played really really well, and I think that a lot of people just kind of overlooked it. And like it does get to you when you're a goaltender. You see the media, you read all the reports, everybody's like, oh, look how crappy he was last season, and like, it eats, gets to your head. But I thought he's been pretty good
There's
today.
a chance.
But
Who?
other than that, I like Philip Gustafson. I think he's the goalie of the future for Ottawa.
What about
And
Matt Sogard?
he's the other goalie of the future
Yeah.
for Ottawa. It's between those two. That is for goalies in the NHL. You always gotta keep your prospects coming, because you never know when they hit the NHL exactly where they're gonna end up, if they just a good backup or an elite starting goaltender. But they have two that look like they could both be starters. So.
Yeah, I'm really surprised every time that they don't play Gustafson more because every time I watch him, he's the better goalie.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, I don't know if that's just me catching his hot games or whatever, but because I don't watch every single Ottawa Senators games. That's you. But
Yeah.
Gustafson seems to be the guy. I'm like, why do they not go to him more? Is it just a development thing at this point?
A little bit. He hasn't. It wasn't like Belleville this year wasn't great. Belleville last year was, like he wasn't great either. He hasn't looked great at the AHL, so they kind of wanted him to like prove, he could like live up to it. He's been getting better every year, so just a little bit at a time. They don't want to overexpose him to play 10 games in a row and lose 5-0 or get 5 goals against in 6 or 7 of them and just be lose all confidence going forward. So just taking it easy.
Yeah, a
A
commercial
lot of
break here.
young, yeah, lot of young goaltenders in the NHL right now, kind of breaking the old stereotype of goalies breaking in when they're late 20s and 30s. But you don't have to. You don't have to rush a goaltender.
Yeah, that's my least favorite thing. Me and you have talked about this at length so much. Is why do they
Hmm.
keep giving guys who obviously don't have it anymore, you know, the the net? Like
Yeah,
Matt Murray to me shouldn't be playing as much as he is. The only reason why he's playing so much is his contract, and
yeah, and they want to make it work.
they want to make the contract work. But if you want to win games, they're a better goalie. So I don't know. Like
And I don't think Ottawa wants to win
yeah,
too
I
much.
guess they don't really care.
Right? A lot of it is development, and they're like, they can develop Murray and Gustafson and kind of have, like, Matt Murray be a starter again, Gustafson be a really good backup until he becomes a starter, and have a winning team, not put pressure on Gustafsson to be 50, 60, games a season right now on a winning team who, Ottawa clearly isn't a winning team. I think they're kind of starting like front to back Ottawa with forwards getting their D and then like goaltending last.
Right.
I see it
I
all
don't know.
falling into place.
Huh. Ooh, little chance there. Did that count as a
Yeah.
shot?
Yes, it did count as a shot.
Nice.
Ottawa gets their first shot at 10 and a half to 11, almost 11 minutes into the game.
Jack Campbell has to be, as a goalie, me and you were both goalies when growing up, if anyone's here and doesn't know that, but starting a game so cold is one of the hardest things you can do. At least for me, like I was on some decent teams, I was on some crappy teams. I was more engaged in the game when I was on the crappier teams and I had a lot of stops a shot early in the game. Jack Campbell just went 11 minutes in a game where he hasn't played in 3 weeks because of postponement until he got his first shot. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah, he's standing there and like blood's pooling and his feet funny. He's gotta
yeah,
like stay warm. Like you can't just stand there forever and expect to
there's no fans
be
in the
amazing.
arena, so the arena's probably colder than it normally is. Like, that's tough.
Mhm.
That's super tough. And then it's like if he lets that goal in, then it's like, oh shit, lets that shot in. Now what?
Yeah, if he lets in the first shot or if he lets in the next shot, his save percentage is 50.
Yeah, that's
Like
tough. It's
5-0.
tough mentally on a goalie sometimes with that.
Mhm.
Shot attempts, 15-1. That was the only shot attempt.
Wow.
But we're still 0-0. We're good. Picked Thomas Shabbat up in my hockey pool the other day.
Matt Murray still looking good vision on Matt Murray. That's
Yep. Ooh. Chance there from
it's
Simmons right in
stacking
front
up.
of the net. Jack Campbell getting involved, playing the puck. It's one-sided, but we're still waiting our first goal of the game here.
And you don't win with shots, you win with goals. So
Yeah, exactly.
and first
As
penalty for Toronto, not kind of an obvious cross check, and I don't know what
yeah,
Riley's arguing about. They're gonna call you for that. Everybody knows now.
yeah.
No
Especially
secret.
recently, the rule, the quote unquote rule change, for cross checks. That's definitely a cross check from Riley. Unfortunately, wouldn't have been last year. But
It's
it
pretty
is what it
blatant.
is
That
now.
was could not be more like ref standing like 7 feet
Yeah,
away.
right here. Boink.
Mm.
Yeah. 2 minutes for you can't do that. Betts is playing like he's 30 this season. Yeah, he's last 2 seasons he's been playing really well. Ever since he came to Toronto, I've been loving Jason Spezza's play. Get some power play time every once in a while on PP2. Geez, what happened to Justin Hall and why does he
Yeah,
I
Hall's
missed
face.
that.
He has plugs in his nose. I believe a nosebleed. Maybe he got hit in the face with a puck.
I must have
Face.
missed the time where Justin Hall got a puck in the face because he's got two
Ooh,
napkins
good
up
move
his
by
nose.
Batherson. Broken up. Wow. Wow.
Ooh,
2-on-1
Brody.
stopped.
Not often see a odd man rush on a power play.
And here we go the other way.
And
Wow.
there it is. Shorty. First goal of the game from Nosebleed Hall himself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my lord. He's got two napkins up his nose, but he's joining the rush on a PK. Drake Batherson with a chance. TJ Brody with his patented take away the lower part of the ice slide. This is a good pass from Kemp.
Mm-hmm. So I think Murray should have had it.
I think so too. I don't think he needed to go down like he did.
No, he should have. He could have like closed up the glove side a little bit quicker, but not just kind of sprawled to reach or something. I think he should have had that one.
Yeah, he definitely overslid, and Hall just kind of put it under.
And here we go where the
Where?
dam starts to break.
Yeah. Here's Mikheyev flying. Oh
There we go.
no. I'm a couple seconds behind you.
Yeah.
2 short-handed goals. That is not what you want to see after fighting. Man, that sucks for Ottawa. After fighting in your own zone almost the entire time, you get on a power play. It's like, okay, now we're going to spend some time in Toronto's zone. Nope.
And the opposite.
Good for Mikheyev, though. Mikheyev has been a guy that the Leafs Nation, Leafs Twitter have been dunking on a little bit. Every time this man gets a chance or a breakaway, or like he can never convert. Wants to use that speed, he's got to be able to put the puck in the net, and he put it.
And hey, he did.
Put it up there.
He scored. And a good one. That's what Toronto needed, First period to go up and be like, hey, we're not rusty. We got control of the game. Didn't have to worry about losing a bad one to Ottawa.
Yeah. Yeah, you're up 2 now.
Not that they, not to like let off the gas pedal, but like they can relax, like they don't have to play anxiously or stick too tight. They can just play their game and
yeah, you can play comfy now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Campbell can get a little comfier, if he's only had one shot, if he lets in a goal, it's not, the end of the world now. He can sit there, be a little comfy in his net. All good now as this power play is about to expire. Ottawa, I don't know where you are in the game. I think you're a little ahead of me, but it just expired for me.
Yeah. Did you jump back ahead during after the goal?
I refreshed my stream.
Yeah, I believe now we're perfectly even.
Cool. What happened there? But I lost some frame.
27 seconds apart, 2 shorthanded goals.
Yeah. That was the last time that happened. I'm not listening to the broadcast because I can't because come through on the stream. But wonder when the last time that happened. 2 shorthanded goals in the same power play like that close together. Be a tough time for whoever the stack guy is to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm. I want to follow a new type of stat for goal scored after a power play.
Or like the next couple minutes after a penalty ends, like where does
Yeah, like a sort of stat to show how many times a team scores within 10 seconds, within 20 seconds, within 30 seconds, within a minute, within 2 minutes, and if there's a team that does really well right after the power play but has a bad power play stat that it can be looked past and been like, oh, look, it's working and they're producing and they are scoring goals, even though, that particular stat doesn't show it.
Yeah. And Sven, 2-0 already. First period, Leafs jumping out. It's the shots, too. The shots are 14-1, 14-2 out of the game. 10-2 on the tracker, but I think it's higher than that in game, isn't it?
Honestly, I have no idea. I feel like some of the shots just haven't hit the net.
Oh yeah.
The way it attempts, it's gonna be 40-4.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially high quality. It's been a few high quality shots too.
I don't know when's the next game for the Leafs.
Wow. Amazing block. Who was that blocking the puck?
Dermott?
Yeah, that was a great block by Dermott.
Dermott's been watching TJ Brody, man.
Good. I feel like a huge part of, you got to learn from your teammates, especially when you're kind of young as a defenseman. you're still like Dermot's still growing. Defense is hard. You're not just
Yeah.
like done.
Figure out how to play defense right away. Rachel Burton, hi, how
Yeah.
you doing? What's up, Rach? How you hanging? How's it going?
Glad Stützle showing some physicality. I feel like Stützle's a guy who's like underratedly strong.
Yeah, he is. He's a little bit of a bowling
That
ball.
product of German engineering,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like a got a physicality to him that
I don't know about physicality, but he can get
a
involved when he
strength.
needs
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
There's some
yeah.
strength to him, but I wouldn't call him, at
I
least
feel
that
like
I've
it's
seen.
a maybe if he could get a physical like an edge that to his game, he could be like so much better. Like you look at a guy like Draisaitl. Draisaitl's a very he's
Big,
a very
strong
physical
guy, yeah.
player. Yeah,
Big, strong
and
guy.
if that's looking, kind of, he's not as big, but if you can kind of play that style anyway, I think that it can be way more effective.
This line's given Ottawa a little bit of trouble. This Kasha Comp Mikheyev line.
Yeah, good speed. It's a fast line.
Yeah. That's supposed to be our defensive line, but I've seen him in the offensive zone a lot.
Yeah, well, you play your best defense in their zone.
Yeah. It's in a commercial break. We're a minute 40
Commercial.
minutes something away from over first intermission here.
We are
What's the Leafs
2-0.
schedule like?
Yeah, with all
Okay.
these games getting canceled.
Says the Oilers Wednesday. Makes sense. Canada. It's tough because the Canadian American border is a little bit precarious. I know. I think they were scheduled to play the Penguins. This must be an updated table. I think they had a Penguins game scheduled and it got postponed.
They were supposed to play Carolina
Oh, okay.
on Monday, and that got canceled. Now they're playing Edmonton, and then the next day Montreal. And Ottawa had their two past games against Boston and the Penguins canceled. Maybe the Leafs had one canceled.
Yeah, we've got a bunch that were canceled.
Maybe that was the one. Maybe yeah, and it was Wednesday. That was postponed as well.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, wait, Ottawa was supposed to face the Penguins, and obviously, they're coming in town, Southern Ontario road trip.
Just going through the metric areas, John Tavares' 900th career game today.
Wow.
Incredible.
I've not liked Chris Tierney this year.
Yeah, me neither. He was good last year for you, wasn't he?
He was
Like,
not so
well,
much last year, but good 2 years ago.
oh, okay.
He started out all right, and he showed a lot of promise in San Jose, but you just never really developed. Ooh, Shabbat trying to bank one in,
Yeah,
but
whoa.
couldn't.
Jack and his feet there.
Keeping keeping his feet warm.
Yeah. That'll get you involved really quick. And he covers that one up.
Shabbat is shaking his head in disbelief.
See a card come up on the stream here for the Olympics. When do the teams get announced? Do we know? Was it the 10th?
January 10th? I believe it
Yeah.
was the 10th. Oof. Campbell, wow. Good job.
Yeah, I can't believe I can't believe he found that puck because he gloved that and
Hmm.
threw it away. And not only did he not kick it into his net, but he found it and flung it out of his crease.
Yeah,
really
it's almost like
impressive.
he knew where it was and was like keeping his pad. Like it's like, no, I'll kick it with my right foot if awareness.
Odds are 11-4 here. 2-0 Leafs.
10 seconds left in the first. And that is all for the first period. 2-0.
Yep, 2-0 after one here. Not a great start.
They just showed the goals on Matt Murray. Neither looked great. Obviously McKayev had a lot of space, but Murray just kind of just clenched up and he kind of maybe blocked the puck. And on the Hall goal, he just kind of like let it slide under him. He never had to do much at all. Kind of like overplayed a little bit. I don't know.
Where did my tracker go?
Where did the tracker go? There was supposed to be a tracker right over here, Ryan.
Why is it capturing this? Wait a second. That happening.
Are you playing audio that you shouldn't be playing?
No. Happened there. Why it's capturing just flopped to.
We're on a different scene.
No, same scene.
Huh.
Oh, fine. I'll figure it out.
Okay. We'll get it in there eventually. It is still 2-0. It is the first intermission. No shots are taking place. And we look good. You look good, Ryan. Ever told
You
you
look
that?
good. Have to. That. That. Alright, we're figuring this out. We're figuring this out. Give me my tracker back.
Talk about Halo Infinite.
Huh?
I could see like random things on your like screen.
Oh.
Oh. And I think we're back.
Yeah. I just have to redo it for some reason, because
See
not.
all your bookmarks.
Yeah, what is this? Why is that there?
And since we have that figured out, I'm gonna go fill up my drink.
Yeah, I'll be chilling. Do that. We got our, our silly Sportsnet live tracker back. Whatever.
Yeah. And we're still here for you. We're not going anywhere.
Yep. I almost did it again. Nice. There we go. I got my stream figured out. We're good. I don't know what happened there, but I lost my window capture. How are they playing with the endemic against them? Do you mean like the fact that they haven't played in a while, or exactly? But I mean, they looked okay out of the gate. It was all Toronto in that period. The Sens had a power play, and the Leafs got two shorties from it. So I'd say the Leafs are playing pretty well. Sens, however, Alex isn't here. I can chirp the Sens all I want while he's going to get his drink or whatever. Yeah, they're playing okay. Playing all right. First intermission here. Mikheyev, oh, finally! I love seeing Mikheyev get that breakaway goal because that was forever where we were waiting for him to start producing when he gets these breakaway chances using his speed and odd man rushes with his speed and he puts it right through the arm of Matt Murray and in. Great to see that. And Justin Hall, who I don't think was that his first. It was definitely his first goal, but I don't think he had a point for a long time. Yeah, he has an assist, but he only has an assist through 24 games, Justin Hall. So for him to get off the schneid, as it were, and get that goal, first goal of the year for him, big for Justin Hall. We got Alex back. How you doing? I hear ya.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Refilled my chocolate milk. Cheers. And, give us a comment down below what you guys are drinking tonight.
Yeah, chocolate milk. Chocolate milk for all. Yeah.
Did you hear the news today? We obviously, can't confirm it ourselves, but yeah, the national men's Russian junior team, like the
Oh,
Russian juniors,
yeah. I heard something about this. Yeah, they were partying on the plane.
masks off. They tried to light a cigarette. They tried to vape.
Yeah, apparently the coach was trying to vape and they were playing music way too loud. They were having a party in the back of the plane trying to get out of Canada. Yeah. Whatever, dude. Like I feel bad for the kids, so like if you want to cause a ruckus on the plane on the way home, then sure. You know what? Sure. I'm sure though the people who work in airports and flight attendants and stuff, if anyone's involved with air travel in the chat, probably doesn't appreciate it. But
Yeah, no, I'd be pretty pissed.
yeah, but
I
as an
wouldn't
outside
appreciate it.
observer, meh. Bob G, no
No,
problem,
I
buddy.
feel bad that apparently a few players from Team Czechia were also kind of implicated,
Oh yeah, I
but
thought that was
had no
only Russia.
involvement. No, like they weren't actually involved, but they were like accidentally pointed out and mixed in with like
Ah, okay.
the crowd or something because they were on the same flight. They were like, oh, the hockey team guys and a few of the Czech players were kind of like included when like they were like uh, picking the guys off or whatever.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, it's obviously the fact the World Juniors was canceled is not fun. There was no scheduled games today, right? Because it was the second
Yeah,
and the
none would have been
fourth
today
and the
anyway.
fifth. Look at the
Yep.
quarters would have been tomorrow, I think. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, super unfortunate. Obviously, we had a lot of content on the channel planned for the World Juniors and the Olympics for the NHL players, but the Olympic rosters will be announced within the next couple weeks. So we'll talk about that, very least. And we're still watching the Olympics. I'm still watching the Olympics.
Oh yeah, I think we it's possible we just talk about lines, maybe rosters even since the World Juniors aren't going to happen. We could find something else to talk about. Maybe we put together, a set of lines for non-NHL players who are going to go to the Olympics.
Yeah, might be enough for that. What are scores like around the NHL right now? We had the outdoor game happening tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
1-1.
St. Louis in Minnesota, and apparently it is freezing in Minnesota. I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you're gonna play outside, play outside.
Yeah, right. Don't let it be a kind of warm. What is that?
Yeah. Keep it in the northern states and Canada
Mm-hmm.
for true outdoor hockey for me anyway. I like that. The game that I remember the most for outdoor hockey, I think it was the first like a televised outdoor hockey game was the Heritage Classic against
Mm-hmm.
Montreal
Mm-hmm.
and Edmonton. I think it was in
Yeah. Good one.
Edmonton and it was cold. You could tell that game was cold. So yeah, get out there and play in -30.
I believe Edmonton is the most northern NHL city.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is too. So in Minnesota, no, we talk about in Canada, where we have all the snow, we have the cold. Frick, Minnesota can get
Yeah,
pretty
they're no
nasty.
stranger to the winter either. They
Yeah,
get it.
if you consider Canadians to be just from the north in the snow, Minnesota is an honorary Canadian state,
Mm-hmm.
Canadian province.
And a few North Dakotans.
Yeah, there's a couple of the northern states that can get pretty nasty. You're replaying the Finland Canada World Cup gold medal game highlights and stuff there. I guess they're highlighting Connor Brown and his play recently. My least favorite Leaf trade,
Mm.
guy we had to trade away in the last half decade or so. Nazem Kadri's name gets brought up a lot. I want Connor Brown back the most.
Yeah.
That dude can play hockey.
And even when he's not producing offensively, he is such a force defensively. Every shift he is, playing his role and doing it right.
Exactly, yeah. Connor Brown's a guy we miss for sure. Yeah, Connor Brown, Zach Hyman, Nazem Kadri. Could be a line. Could be a line for Toronto.
It'd be a good line.
Imagine if that was the third line. Like, I love Mikheyev, Kampf, Kasha, and what they've done, but imagine
Well, they'd be the fourth line.
they would. Yeah. Well, I'd still want to have Spets in there somewhere. I like what Spets and Wayne Simmons have done. The roles that they play and how on the fourth line. So if I could trade our third line for this imaginary crazy world Hyman, Kadri, Brown third line, oh my lord.
You know what? I just had an idea, and you've never had this idea. I'm surprised you've never thought of this. We should do like an all-time teams kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You're a very smart man, and you deserve all the credit for that idea, and definitely nothing
Thank you.
I've ever thought about ever.
Yeah, that's what you gonna do. You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Yeah, I've had those in the wings, dude.
I know.
How long have I had those? I still got the sticky notes in my computer for those.
Mm-hmm.
That. Maybe we should pull the trigger on the all-time national teams because I did all those too.
Right. I mean, I did the thummy for a Casa Wallstat video,
Yeah,
so I don't know if.
we didn't get it. If we got a Sweden Canada game in the
Yeah, that
World
would have been
Juniors, I
awesome.
would have 100% done it.
Hmm.
I was planning on doing it. The Casa versus Wallstedt
And even
comparison.
just just watching them all game, and Wallstat, had an amazing game himself.
Yeah, I would have
That
done.
was.
It would have been the review of the game. They say they met in the semifinals. It would have been a review
Mhm.
of the game, and then I would have come out and, in secret, without you knowing, thrown a video up there on Costa versus Wallstedt's like their games from a goaltending perspective, because I have the thummy, because you put the thummy up there a while ago. I gotta
One
jump
day
off for 2 seconds.
I
I'll
will
still be
take
able
over.
to hear you. I just my stuff's dying, so
Oh,
I don't want everything to die on me. So we're going to run to the other room and get
Chargers.
Chargers. Yeah, Kirill Kaprizov and David Perron with the goals in the Blues Wilds game. Well, they're just showing how Hall got kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Camp? I didn't see that.
Sandine.
Sandine got kicked in the face. That's why his nose is all like that.
Yeah.
Jeez. Jeez.
Why does your face look like that?
Yeah. I saw him like, why do you have those up your nose? What happened to you? That's what happened. The negatives of me not being able to hear the game and hear if someone just mentions it off. The color commentator just mentions it.
Mm-hmm. That's why we do this together.
Mm-hmm.
We are two hockey guys.
Imagine if we had named our channel that.
Two hockey guys? Oh no. It's the best THG.
2 THGs. Not knowing him at all, he might find that hilarious.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
kind of low key.
You know what? We did post a video about the World Juniors being canceled 15 minutes before he produced his.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, for the way that timelines work out, he could have watched all of ours, made his, and posted it in that amount of
No,
time. He only
no,
does the
no.
little thingy, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. It was a hot video. It was the hottest video on the topic, one of the first. I could very well see the
No,
hockey guy being a fan of Dopamon.
we just scooped them. Oh.
Steve
We're obviously
Dangle's not a fan of us, though. Steve Dangle hates us.
why? Why though?
He's jealous of you, Ryan,
Oh yeah,
obviously.
obviously. I'm jealous of his Leafs room.
Oh, yeah, that Leafs room. Oh, man. Oof. You got a cute little corner yourself.
I
I like
threw a
what you
couple
got going on
jerseys
behind
on my wall, but that's all I got. My Scotland flag. Hear what he's got.
you. Hmm.
Yeah, we're obviously big fans. If you're watching this and you know either one of those guys, we're obviously big fans of Steve Dangle, SDPN, and the hockey guy. We're fans of them. Big motivations and guys to look up to for hockey YouTube for us anyway. For me,
And
anyway.
I like a little bit about it both. You know, they both have something that I appreciate.
Yep. Second period about to start here. My tracker is finally working as it
I
should.
got the camera on Drake Batherson, who I thought has had like a bunch of chances, but just hasn't been able to like make it work. I feel like if he can make it work, he's going to be the guy for to Ottawa for to score.
Oh, he was the only guy that had the chance on the power play, right?
Yeah,
Brody
he had that pass that
laid
was
down
broken
and
up by
set it up.
Brody. Yep. Yep. So like, you know, he just hasn't been able to like make that work. He had another one where he kind of fanned on the puck and wasn't able to move his hands quick enough. Um, I'm not sure if maybe COVID hit him a little bit harder and he hasn't been the same since, but I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't know the individual cases of, you know, COVID for each of these teams, and Ottawa getting hemmed
Hmm.
in real early right away. If you're new to the stream, like we said at the first intermission, we really appreciate it if you leave a like in this video. I'll promote promote our stream. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us.
And Ottawa has a tripping penalty.
Oh, no. That's not what you want. Front of the net here.
See Nick Holden on
On
Mitch Marner. Just stuck his
okay.
leg out a little bit too long.
Oh, right there with the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Holden's been really good for Ottawa, in my opinion. Came over from Vegas,
Yep.
I believe. Yeah, and he's been amazing. Obviously as a defensive defenseman, he hasn't put up points, but like every shift, he has played pretty well for me. He's like, aware, of everything. Denies the rush. He's got pretty good wheels still. He can move his legs still for an older guy. Um,
Older
I'm
guy. He's
I'm
not that
enjoying
old,
him.
is he?
Is it
He's like
30
31,
something?
32.
Yeah.
Got some wheels left to him. Austin is all over this power play. He wants one bad. Just tell.
Holden is 34.
Oh, he's older than I thought he was.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought he was 31.
No. But yeah, smart defensive defenseman. I feel like if you like break down his like defensive highlight reel, he could it'd be a good trade prospect for Toronto for Ottawa if they don't make at the trade deadline. I don't feel like they're gonna make the playoffs. He's a guy that they can get a pick for maybe.
Yeah, team, might want Josh Holden. Might be a guy that someone. The trade deadline, the trade market's going to be interesting this year. I don't know exactly how that's going to work.
Because there have not been many trades.
No.
They've all been minor league, kind of no big movement anywhere in the league. Everybody's just trying to play within their own system.
Yeah, at least there's no. At least I think there's no quarantine for teams who do make time around.
Mm-hmm.
Canadian American division, that would kind of suck.
Yeah, like if you had to make those trades, wait 2 weeks for a guy to get into the country and then start playing with you, that would be rough.
Yeah. Second power play unit out there for Toronto. See Mikheyev on this unit. He's normally out there, but
I'm glad he's getting a chance though.
Kasha, Bunting, Spezza, Mikheyev, and Sandin. Second unit for Toronto. I know Simmons has spent some time on that unit. Willie's obviously been up and down between the first and second unit the last couple of years, but obviously he's been on the first unit much of this year. Art. Kasha. Kasha's had a great season. I've really liked what he's brought with just stabilizing the offensive capability. Bottom six for us. Like he's got some wheels. He's got a shot. This is really good for Anaheim a couple years ago, and the fact that he's playing regularly and gets a chance with Toronto is awesome. Love that for him.
And I believe I read that right. Toronto, they did have all the possession here in the offensive zone. Their passes have been really clean. If you compare like this power play to their first period power play, all these passes are right on tape to tape. But they didn't get register an actual shot on that.
Yeah, a couple chances, but yeah, I think Ottawa's getting good. Sticks in the lanes, bodies in front, deflecting pucks away from the net. That power play was. Hall's got the napkins out of his nose. Yeah, right here, they're showing it. He doesn't even really react. Like he doesn't go down. Like he's just kind of like, oh, I got a skate in the face.
You think you're just dead?
Yeah, what the heck?
Like, oh, I'm dead now. Like that's just something you have to accept.
Hey, Anthony Manzano, how you doing, man?
Hey.
Been a while since I've seen you in the chat. Ryan, do you think with the Panthers are doing with Anton is good? He's been insulated by veterans like Jumbo Joe and Barkov. Anton Lundell is very good at hockey. I've really liked what he's done with the Panthers, and yeah, I think you're exactly right. He's able to learn from one of the best centers of all time, in my opinion, in Joe Thornton and Alex Barkov, who might be the best player, one of the best centers in the league that doesn't get enough credit. Yeah, Anton Lundell playing very well.
And they're giving him like, in my opinion, like the right minutes. They're
Yeah,
not forcing him to be a number one center. They're just playing him whatever, he's comfortable with growing into, and challenging him a little bit, but not too much. He's learning, he's growing, and I think he's going to be an amazing number one center, for Florida to compete, with Barkov.
yeah. In the
So
next couple years, it'll be Barkov Lundell,
mhm.
the Finnish centerman down the two-way centerman down the middle. Florida's gonna be scary.
I think it's always healthy to have, like, two centers kind of competing to be number one.
Yep.
I think we're going to see that with Trevor Zegras and Mason McTavish in Anaheim. I think that's one that
Yeah.
could be a,
Another good
they're going to
example.
both, yeah. John Tavares and Austin Matthews here in Toronto.
Hmm.
Of course, Crosby and Malkin.
Crosby and Malkin,
Backstrom and
McDavid,
Kuznetsov.
Backstrom, Kuznetsov, McDavid, Draisaitl when they are centers.
Mm-hmm.
Draisaitl plays center. Yeah, it's all those names, all those pairings that we just listed through. The Panthers are going to be with those teams
Yeah.
next couple of years with the depth that they're starting to acquire. I don't think, to your point, Anthony, has Joe Thornton been playing that well down there? I've only been able to catch a couple games with the Panthers. Every time I see him, he just looks like he looked in Toronto, like good but slow, not quite up to speed still. And I know he's been scratched more than he was in Toronto. Toronto had him on the first line at some points, playing left wing, top line with Matthews, but I haven't seen much in the way of minutes for Joe Thornton in Ottawa. With a break here on the short-handed little chance there.
Almost. Oh, wow.
Comes right
Whenever
back
there's
the
a
other
chance
way.
one way.
This is back and forth. This shouldn't be happening on the power play. The Kings have a second young center they're going to be pairing up with Quinton Byfield. Well, it's Kopitar until Kopitar retires, and then it'll be what, Turcotte and Byfield, Alex?
Turcotte and Byfield. Yeah,
Yeah,
Turcotte and Byfield.
yeah. Alex Turcotte gonna be very good as well.
Oof.
I thought when they were drafted, I saw Turcotte as more of a wow. Sorry.
Yeah, Matthews, right?
Matthews
Yeah.
with an incredible chance. I saw Turcotte as more of a winger, but he's slowly growing in my books as a center.
Mm-hmm.
The Kings got like some of the nastiest prospect pools in the league right now.
And you know what? Who's we just completely skipped over Gabe Velarde.
All right, Gabe Vilardi's still there.
Yeah, who is himself could very well be a 1A, 1B kind of center, like
Like, they have Helge Grans in their system. They got Akil Thomas in their system. They got Rasmus Kupari. They got Alex or Arthur Kaliev. I was called Alex Kaliev. Arthur Kaliev, who's played with the LA Kings a little bit, I think, this year.
Mhm.
Yeah, the LA Kings got a scary little group of prospects. Yeah, Kupari's played 29 games. Bjorn Fott's played 32. Alex Turcotte's played a couple games this year. Kaliev's played 31. Like, they're all starting to get time, Kings. So see what happens there in the next couple years. Fourth line shift to the Leafs here anyway. We have a little broken shift because of the power play. So we got Kerfoot, Kampf, and Simmons together on the Leafs. Ryan, what do you think my Panthers have to do to improve for the deadline? I think we need to go after Giordano. Giordano would be a welcome addition to any team, but let me see. What's the?
I don't think Seattle will give him up.
I mean, they might. Depends on the deal. I want to look at before I answer you, Anthony. What the cap situation is like in Florida right now, because I think they're right up against it. So unfortunately, if you're gonna make any deals,
Yeah, Mark
it's gonna
Giordano
be
is on a $6.75 million a year contract. He is on the last year of that still.
yeah. So if they're gonna get a guy like Giordano, they're gonna have to get Seattle to retain half, and then another team to retain half, like Tampa and Toronto did with Savard and Foligno at last year's deadline. So that'll bring it to what, 1.5 million, and then they'll need to send equal money out. So
We'd have to get rid of a guy like Radko Gudas. Like it'd be a
yeah,
tough kind of. I feel like it'd be a hard sell for Florida. I don't think Florida has to make a move at all, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, shoring up on D if you're going for a run is always what you kind of want to do. So Anthony's right in that sense. Have to improve for D at the deadline, but
Hey, you know what we mentioned earlier? Nick Holden on Ottawa, strong defensive defenseman. I feel like he's a guy who could, you just fetch a fourth or fifth round pick. That's all you need. I feel like he's going to be available. He might, solidify a team's D.
yeah, I'm curious what the Panthers are going to do next year as far as their cap is concerned, because they got Barkov is 10 million next year. Carter Verhaeghe's going from 1 to 4.1. Ryan Lomberg's got a little extension. They they have Keith Yandel's buyout going from 2 to 5.3. So like the Florida Panthers are going to have to shed a little bit of salary next year.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, actually no, Vetrano's coming off the books, so there's 2.5. They're probably going to have to lose a guy like Anthony Duclair, maybe?
Hornfist.
Hornquist? No, Hornquist is such a good guy in the playoffs. That's a tough guy to learn.
It's $5.5 million. That's rough, and like that might be like what the cost has to be. That's like to make the 5 million, like to make up the money. I
Yeah.
don't think Declare would be enough.
The problem is we need a right-handed defenseman. We have a lot of left-handed guys in the team. Alex, is Nick Holden right or left-handed?
He's left,
Yeah,
so
he's a
it wouldn't
left-handed guy.
work. Yeah, I guess you need somebody better than Ratko Gudas and cheaper than 2.5 million for him.
Yeah, that's a tough. That's why we're not NHL GMs. Maneuvering the cap with real people
EJ Brody
is
with
tough.
the
Nice little
wraparound.
wraparound goal. 3-0 Leafs. Little wraparound goal there for TJ Brody. Cracker has an update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is 3-0 now. Brody with an amazing wraparound, bounces off like Stutzla and Matt Murray in front, and gets in.
What way does Ben Sherratt shoot? Oh,
Left.
Ryan, you're smarter than most NHL YouTubers. Don't sell yourself short. I appreciate that a whole lot, Anthony. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. Yeah, Ben Sherratt is left-handed, so that wouldn't work either. I'm trying to find you a right-handed defenseman on different teams there, Anthony. I don't know, man.
Not a lot.
Depends. Like it'll be a lot of there's a lot of time still between now and the deadline, so we'll see what happens. Some teams might start to get out of it. Some teams, yeah, might turn into buyers or sellers.
Ottawa playing a little bit harder since that last goal, trying to keep up their game, but they're not able to keep puck possession in Toronto's zone. They just have no structure to their game. Just kind of like holding it, throwing it around, seeing who's open. They not able to like play their style offensively.
Ryan, who do you think becomes the new GM in Montreal after they fired Marc Bergevin? That is another good question. I like in the chaos universe that I like sometimes. Patrick Waugh being the GM would be hilarious. I don't think that's what they should do, but in my you know maximum chaos brain, I want Patrick Waugh to be there. But I'm not sure. I mean, Jeff Gorton is going to be the guy, I think, and they just need a GM that speaks. They want someone that speaks French, that is able to talk to the media, easily in French and be able to communicate with that side of the fan base. So anybody that really has that kind of experience, but Jeff Gorton, I think, is going to be the guy making the last decisions in Montreal. Kind of like how we're from Toronto, so I relate everything to Toronto, in my own head. But how the Toronto Raptors work with Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster. Bobby Webster is the GM of the Toronto Raptors, but Masai Ujiri is the figurehead. He's the guy that everyone knows. People don't, some people, casual fans of basketball, don't even know that Bobby Webster is a GM of the Raptors. They think it's Masai Ujiri. So that's what I think will happen over there. They just need a guy that knows what he's doing, speaks French, is able to communicate. So a couple guys can do that. Ryan is an honest question. Can you explain to me why it seems out of every fan base in hockey, Toronto is always on DEFCON 5 at the beginning of the season and at the end of season 2? Because we Leafs. Maybe you could answer that question, Alex, because you're the outside opinion. Why are Leafs fans always nuts?
Leafs fans are kind of crazy. It's a big market, obviously, largest in Canada, and this is our biggest sport. So you have people from across the entire country weighing in after every, you have guys from Windsor to Tuktoyaktuk,
Tuck
commenting on TSN's posts, so there's always gonna be like a demand for the team to play really well and and win
Yep.
across the whole country. And it's not just like the city of Toronto; it's Toronto Maple Leafs fans, and that extends like not maybe not even nationally, but internationally. Like there's Leafs fans everywhere across the globe.
Yeah, that's honestly why I think the Leafs are as hated as they are in other markets, for lack of a better word, is because
Hmm.
sometimes the Leafs will come into a city that they have no business being the home team in and accidentally being the home team because there's so many more Leafs fans. Like it happens to Buffalo all the time. I feel bad a little bit every time it happens to Buffalo Sabres fans.
Yeah,
If
you
there's
don't
a
feel bad when it happens to Ottawa though.
No, Ottawa's different. um, like Buffalo, the Leafs going to Buffalo is almost a home game for Toronto because there's more Leafs fans in the stands because it's cheaper to get Buffalo Sabres tickets than it is Leafs tickets, and it's right across the border for us. So it's tough. There's Leafs fans everywhere, so I think just with the more people talk about it, the more media is on it, the more it's always seeming to be you know going wrong, right? Always a DefCon 2, like you said.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's
And it's easier to drive to Ottawa or Buffalo than deal with Toronto traffic. So
sure.
4 hours to drive to Buffalo, or Ottawa and back. It's like, well, or you could spend 3 hours on the 401 trying to move 5 feet. So
Yeah, yeah, it's tough.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that, Anthony. I think, but just the fact that Toronto's fan base and the media surrounding it is so huge, just ends up bringing an environment that can be a little bit crazy.
that's a good thing. You want your fans to be crazy. You want your haters to be angry. You
Yeah,
want them to be loud. You want, whether they love you or hate you. Like, as far as like clicks on the internet, like it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Like you're getting your clicks, you're getting your, your ad time, you're getting your team name out there, you're getting your brand out there. Like it's good for them, even if it's kind of like, hey, everything's toppling. Even if it's like kind of bad news, it's good for like Toronto media. It's good for fans, even. sit there and care about their team.
Yeah, I do find it annoying sometimes where like the media will create problems that don't exist just to because it's Toronto, they're gonna generate all these clicks. Like
Hmm.
I remember when Austin Matthews first signed his contract after ZLC, one he's on now. The first thing out of Brian Burke's mouth at Sportsnet was, "Hey Toronto fans, he's gonna leave in 5 years because he's a UFA." It's always, it's trying to make Leaf fans go crazy.
Hmm.
Ryan, being that
And
hockey is the
Matthews
biggest sport.
leaves, right? Like it's such a clickbait.
Yeah, it's a clickbaity thing. Being the hockey is such the biggest sport in Canada, which fan base is the most delusional? Montreal, Edmonton, or Toronto? Delusional.
Oof.
Ottawa. No. uh, I don't know. I think Toronto fans can, be really like okay. All three of those markets, they're
Wow.
yeah. What was
How
that?
is this puck not
Yeah, what happened here?
Formenton with a million chances to
Jesus.
get it past Campbell on an open net? And
Sorry, Anthony. We're still watching the game too. So Campbell just made a crazy save. But all three of those markets, those are the biggest markets in Canada. And Vancouver, you can throw Vancouver into that loop too. Um,
I think we've seen the riots in Vancouver. There's a reason why that was left off the list. They're obviously the most delusional,
yeah,
but
when
after
it's
Vancouver,
in all those markets, when it's going well, they're the best team in the world. When it's not, everything's on fire. So, um, recently, I think, if you want to talk about delusional in the sense that are you going to win soon, out of those three, I'd say Montreal
I
because
agree.
Montreal is plummeting in, what, the players they have, you know, how competitive they're going to be in the next couple years. I don't think Montreal is looking up at all. I think they're going to be trending downward for a few years as they generate prospects and some of their guys get off the big contracts that they've signed. But I think Edmonton and Toronto, both teams, if they're able to figure it out in the playoffs, either one of them can go on a crazy run. Montreal thought Cole Caulfield was Jesus. Yeah. Slinksy.
He does have, like a high octane elite offensive skill, but he doesn't have like, the full skill set. He doesn't have a, solid
Yeah, I
two-way
mean,
game. He's just, he's really good, but
he's a
he's
kid.
got a
Like,
few years.
he's a kid. And Montreal and Toronto's the same way. When a good player comes into that organization, they're the savior of the franchise, right? So Cole Caulfield was, to a lot of fans, the next big superstar, and because he hasn't, shown up very much in the early part of his career, it's the sky is falling, like I said.
And I think Montreal they love to hype, someone that comes in at the end of the season and has a few good, really good games. Who did that with them? Is it 3 years ago? It's that
Oh,
center.
Ryan Paling. Ryan Paling had a hat trick in the final game of the year. I just lost your audio, Alex. Hold on. Can I hear you now? Are you there? Yes? No? Talk? Are you? I haven't seen you move your mouth yet. Are you talking? I just lost Alex's audio, so we'll figure that out slowly over the next couple of minutes here. As we still see you, but does Alex know sign language? Use that. Yeah. Nothing. I don't know what's going on with you, dude. Gotta keep doing this little test. Yes, no. Well, as
Hey.
we've. Oh, I heard you for a
Oh, and
second.
I'm back.
There
Hello.
you are. What the hell happened to you?
My audio device failed.
Oh, it was on your end.
Yeah, it was on my end. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I was like freaking out. I'm like, why is this happening on my side? All right. It's your end. It's not bad.
So Ryan Paling had a hat trick.
Yeah, it was Ryan Paling that had it. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
Anthony,
and right, yeah, and just there's a hype there. Cole Caulfield came in, he played really well, and I feel like I would agree that Montreal is the most delusional in the sense that their team last year wasn't great. They barely slipped into the playoffs. They did have a roster that was, I'd say, built for the playoffs, which helped them go deep. But they lost a lot of parts, and you have to be delusional to think that you're going to lose parts and come back better than last year.
yeah. Anthony asks how good of a player was Marcus Naslund in his prime. Do you mean Marcus Naslund for the Canucks? I don't know. Am I am
Was
I
really good.
completely missing a guy? No, I think you mean Naslund, the
Yeah, spelling.
Naslund.
Yeah.
He was great. He was in that Canucks era. That line, if we're talking about the same guy, that line of I think it was Bertuzzi, Morrison, Naslund in Vancouver for a little bit. That was an incredible line. Brendan Morrison was the center on that line. He was very underrated in his time in Vancouver. I think it was Bertuzzi. Am I wrong? Was Bertuzzi, Naslund, Morrison? I'm not a Canucks guy, so.
Yeah, neither am I.
Peter asked, "Do you think the Canucks would win the cup with Bourdon?" Luc Bourdon? Unfortunately, him passing away. Obviously, who knows? But that's a wild
And he was
hypothetical.
definitely
I mean,
projected upwards. I definitely feel like he was going to be an impact player,
I
but
think so. But who
it's
knows?
hard to it's hard to project and what Vancouver even would have done with him. Maybe they would have traded him.
Yeah,
Who knows? So
yeah. Unfortunately, we'll never know. But the
and through that
Canucks.
speculation, when we do like our redrafts, we try to avoid that kind of thinking on. I would just be like,
Yeah, it's like we did our, what was it, 2008,
8.
the Kyle Beach
Mm-hmm.
draft. Like, where would he have gone if he had gone to another team? Like, how would his career have been different? We try to ignore, we try to, or not ignore it, but we try to
Mm-hmm.
not,
For the sake of like, yeah,
for the
the
sake
sake
of
of getting
the,
that through.
for the sake of redraft, we're only really considering guys who have played. These hypotheticals it's tough because anything could have happened. Could have won cups with Vancouver. He could have not played very well and found his way out of the NHL. Could have done a lot of things, but fortunately, we'll never know. What do you guys is the biggest what if scenario in the last decade in terms of drafts, specifically in the top 5?
What if Ryan was drafted first overall in 2012?
No, he said 5 years.
Oh,
Oh, in last decade. Sorry, I thought
in the
I
last
mixed
decade.
up.
Oh, yeah, in the last decade, you it was 2012, man.
Yeah,
That's
the 2012 draft sucks. But maybe what if that draft was a little bit less insane? Like, what if Neil Yakupov had stayed or lived up to his potential?
his cousin Raul Yakupov is draft eligible in 2022. Maybe third or fourth round pick. I like him. That's pretty good. Got could put the puck in the net.
maybe for you specifically, what if, because you're the Florida Panthers fan, what if they drafted Leon Draisaitl instead of Aaron Ekblad, number one? That might be an interesting hypothetical what if. They had Draisaitl Barkov instead of their current makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Be fun.
I got a minute and 20 seconds left in the second period. So far, one goal for the Leafs this period.
Hmm.
But the period's not over yet.
Puck possession, everything's in Toronto's favor right now. Ottawa with a
Mhm.
couple really good chances though.
Yeah, definitely more even than the first period. I felt like Ottawa's maybe getting their like game a little bit. Once they've gotten the puck settled in the offensive zone, they've been able to get a little bit of something happening, but it's just been Toronto all game.
Mm-hmm. It's surprising because Ottawa's played Toronto pretty hard in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't have a very good record against them at all last year in the North Division, and by them I mean the Leafs and Ottawa.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's a matter of neither team's played since the 18th, and because of that it's harder for the Sens to get their feet under them a little bit more than the Leafs, who are objectively the better team.
And Anthony, to answer your question, I don't think there's ever been who's the last American player that you can remember receiving exceptional status to play in Canada in the juniors. So the CHL, I was trying to think. I had to Google it because Tavares was an exceptional status. McDavid was exceptional. Bedard in the W. He was the first player in the WHL. That's recently. I think I think Aaron Ekblad was one as well. I don't think any American has ever been granted exceptional status in Canada. It's just the way that correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, if you can find out the answer to that. But
Sean Day is Canadian American.
okay.
He was born in Leuven, Belgium. Belgium born Canadian American, but grew up in Rochester. So I'd consider maybe he was American, Sean Day. He was born in Belgium, grew up in the US, moved to Canada.
Joe Veleno was born in Quebec, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't think anybody. The American program the last couple years has been very specific. Like guys go into the national team development program. Some teams go to some players. So I see playing teams. Some players go to college. Some players go to the NCAA. I don't think any of them have come to Canada. There's been a couple Russians and Swedes that have come over here, but none. All the exceptional status guys, they've all been Canadian. As far as my memory and a quick Google is concerned, anyway.
And for the future, I feel like it's gonna stay that way. Like you said, the United States are just developing more junior programs.
Yeah.
Universities are coming up with hockey programs. The USHL is being taken more seriously. Like I feel like that's just like people are Americans are feeling more comfortable playing in the United States and getting seen and scouted as for hockey. When before that, coming up to Canada and playing in a Canadian junior league was a big option for Americans just because it was harder to get looked at in the US. That'll do for period two.
Yeah, period two is donezo. 3
Hmm.
nothing Leafs after two. Shots are still very one sided. Am I correct on my information? Didn't Connor McDavid receive exceptional status during his junior career before he went to the. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was one of the guys that's been exceptional status in the CHL. For him, would have been the OHL, is 15. As in, the minimum age or the lowest age you can be normally is 16, but a couple of guys who are so good that it doesn't matter. Get in at 15, and yeah, he was one of them. It was Ekblad, Tavares, McDavid that have gotten that. Very, very few guys. Like even the really good, you know, you just look at first overall picks over the last little bit. Like I don't think Stamkos or McKinnon and the Q, like none of those guys were. Like as good as they are, like an exceptional status for Canadian juniors is very uncommon.
Bedard too. My God.
Yeah, Bedard. You gotta think like 15 is what? Grade 10? Like they're
Yep.
not even halfway through high school. Oh my lord, you
Yeah.
imagine?
I'm playing in the OHL.
Was Sidney Crosby in the OHL before he to the NHL for juniors? No, he was. There are three. So the Canadian Hockey League, the Canadian Junior League, is made up of three leagues: the Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. And Sidney Crosby was in the Quebec one. He played for Rimouski Oceanic, and I think he won the Memorial Cup that year, remembering it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played in the Q. He played in the QMJHL. I pay the most attention to the OHL because we're from Ontario. So these teams are in our backyard for us.
20-minute drive from, the Storm. I'm 40 minutes away from the Colts, the Barrie
Yeah.
Colts.
Barrie, Mississauga, London is close by. Erie if you have to go around the lake, but it's pretty close to us. A couple teams that are right there.
Niagara.
Niagara,
Kingston,
Hamilton,
Ottawa, Peterborough.
Peterborough even. This is like if we wanted to watch OHL hockey, it's way easier for that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, for obvious reasons. Yeah, Sidney Crosby was nuts in juniors. I remember that. That's when I really started to get into hockey. Like I was always a hockey fan, and my parents, my dad raised me a hockey fan and all that, right? But around that, the Sidney Crosby lockout rookie class kind of year, I think it was, say 2003 ish. That's when I really like my hockey fandom kind of went nuts.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of kids, age 9, 10, 11, that's when they become that's like the big hockey fans and solidify their interest in a single sport or the variety of sports. They kind of focus on whatever they're interested in.
Yeah. Does the top center for Canada in next year's draft have exceptional status? Shane Wright? No, I don't think Shane Wright had.
No, he didn't.
Let's Google it to make sure. But I don't think he got granted exceptional status. Like I said, like it's only happened like I can count on one hand, I think, the amount of times it's happened, so very, very rare do they let 15-year-olds play in the amateur leagues in Canada.
There's no need. Canada, we have a pretty good U16, leagues, U18 leagues. There's no reason for, really for these kids unless they're so amazing to be coming up to the OHL. When you're that young, just stay. You're still going to get 2 years in the OHL or 3 years in the OHL, so you don't really have to come up. You don't have to worry about, a kid's development or anything. They would still have good leagues. It's not like they're missing out by not playing in the OHL.
Exactly, yeah. They'll get all that development later.
Because I feel like there are a lot of players who you could justify or he's 15, but he probably could be good enough to play in the OHL and get a few points. But why? Because just leave him where he is. Don Mills Flyers or whatever.
Yeah. In terms of junior hockey specifically, is Canada the only country that offers that exceptional status moniker for young players? Yeah, no, but they're not called exceptional status players. But like in Russia, I know in Russia how it works, right?
I don't know how the contracts work. I think you just sign an adult contract or something, but the junior league is connected to the adult league. So if the Moscow uh, Red Army, like CSK Moscow, they have their KHL team, but they also have their junior Russian team that they can call players up from. Matvey Michkov is an example of a guy who plays. He's only 16 years old and he's playing in the KHL amongst men because he signed a
Yeah.
contract with them. But yeah, that's an option. As we are saying earlier in the stream here, when talking about the World Juniors, Bedard versus Michkov.
Yeah.
Bedard hasn't played against adult men. Michkov, we've seen in the KHL, which is the second best league in the world. Michkov is productive. He can still move the puck and dance around people, and it's a tough league, and he is still producing, and
Yep.
he's producing more than the next top draft pick in 2022, Danilo Yurov, did in the KHL. So
Yeah, every generation has its pair of players that, it's superstars. Last, before us, it was, well, kind of us, but we caught it late. It was Lemieux and Gretzky, then it was Crosby, Ovechkin. Currently, I'd say it's McDavid, Matthews. In a few years, it's going to be Bedard, Michkov. It's they're that good.
mhm.
I'm confident in projecting that those guys are going to be as good as McDavid and Matthews and the top players are now. Like they project so well. Alex, what are
when you
your
watch them score, for those in the juniors, you can just tell they're gonna be.
what
Yeah,
are
what
your
are
thoughts so far on Maxine Mammon as a professional NHL hockey player? Same question, Ryan. Who are we talking about, Max?
Maxim Maman? I'm trying to remember from my notes.
Yeah, as we have a lot of notes on a lot of guys.
Oh, he's big. I'm liking this game. You're obviously the Florida fan, Anthony. So you let me know what you think of him. I like when guys, you know, obviously get drafted and they perform really well in the KHL. Because once you're scoring in the KHL, like you're kind of like you're obviously too good for the AHL. So there's a kind of like that line where you can get into the NHL. I feel like some players thrive more than others. You look like a guy, Toronto signed
Yeah.
Lettinen, yeah, and he was a big scorer in the KHL, but it just didn't click in Toronto, didn't click in the NHL at all. But you look at a guy like Artem Zub that Ottawa signed, and he was playing well in the KHL, but wasn't scoring as much. But his style of play, clearly it's working because in Ottawa he's a solid second pairing kind of guy.
Hmm.
So I don't. It's weird when you see the guys from the KHL. You really have to like when you're scouting them, determine if their style of play will work at the NHL level, because North American hockey is very different from like the Russian style of hockey, and there's some things you have to consider in that sense.
When I look at him, he kind of reminds me of Alex Radulov. Trying to say, yeah, he both big Russian forwards, so only comparable. Radulov isn't the same player, obviously. He was. Yeah, last year just playing. I'm still looking at Maimon stats. KHL, he had 35 points in 55
Mm-hmm.
games in Moskva, so played well over there, and he's been playing well over here in both the NHL and AHL. Some guys take a little bit longer to develop. He's 26 years old. Could be a solid little depth player. Maybe Alex Radulov at the absolute best, but we'll see.
Speaking of the CSK in Moscow that Mammon came from, that same year last year, Daniel Chaika, who was a draft pick, was playing on that team. He was 18 years old. Became aged into 18 years old. Leading up to that draft, he was underager. He was 17 when he got called up, and playing against adult men looked pretty good. And a lot of kids that are able to play against men in Russia, and I really appreciate that about the league. I think that's it's unique when you've been an NHL fan for so long and you've watched CHL hockey just to suddenly you see like 16, 17-year olds coming to play up against men and playing up and down and these teams being so connected to the junior league.
Alex, I've noticed this recently with my Panthers that we've stayed away from drafting Russian players because it seems like we struggle signing them to NHL entry level deals.
I feel like it kind of goes a little bit of a two-way street, but I'm gonna, give that there is legitimacy to that. The Russian players are able to make more money, in the KHL than they would getting sent down to the AHL. And if they just don't crack an NHL roster, and they're only getting paid, equivalent of 60, $75,000 a year in the AHL if they're only on a contract that doesn't have a one-way contract, then like they got to be worried about like how much money they can make and why are they here playing in a minor league when they can be home playing in a major league making more money. And I feel like at the same time, as a result, NHL teams kind of avoid Russian players at times.
Yeah, it can happen. It's unfortunate. And as the
I
whole
feel like they're
contract problem is.
maybe more inclined to take players who committed to the OHL. Russian players who are here, who've played before, they're willing to be like take a chance on them, and that's just because they know that they like to play a North American style of hockey for first and foremost, and willing to play here in the continent, and will likely play for an NHL team.
Yeah, we can talk about how crappy the Russian system is sometimes, but it all depends on the player. Like some players want to come over here,
Hmm.
other players really
Oh, for
don't, and
sure.
it depends on the situation. I'm not sure about the Panthers draft history when it comes to Russians. The guys they could have should have gotten or whatever, but
Hmm.
they definitely seem to be leaning more toward Finland, which is
Yeah.
I guess good for them because they seem to be pretty successful over there. But yeah, some teams lean different countries. They have better scouts or more scouts in a certain area. Yeah,
And I feel like that screams to the importance of draft interviews. You got to talk to these players and know what they feel their future is going to be like, where they want to play, and if you get a bad feeling from them, like they don't want to be around, don't want to play for your organization, you don't draft them. You put them lower on your draft board.
here's an interesting question: which older Russian players that have NHL experience already can you see coming back to retire here? Um, that's a really good question because that's super.
Niche question.
Yeah, that's a super niche question.
I want to see now Voinov's ban being lifted. Not out of defense for Voinov, but on the principle of other NHL players having done worse and still playing. And I think it's kind of weird and disproportionate.
Yeah, it seems to be where everyone goes when they screw up that.
Hmm.
Um, a guy who is leading the league over there and has for a couple of years, but has never really shown interest in coming over here is Vadim Shipashev. Been a KHL guy forever, and then Vegas tried to sign him, and I think he played 3 games or something
Hmm.
in the NHL, but has no interest in really coming back here. Maybe him later in his career if he wants to like make some a lot of money real quick. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that was I was saying earlier about the making money. He got sent down to the AHL and was like, "Nope, I'm done. If I'm not going to play top 6, if I'm not going to be, a top line center like I'm supposed to." I think he got 3 assists in 4 games, wasn't bad, wasn't, could have put up more. Like he still adjusting to North American hockey. He's like, if you're not going to, kind of give me that chance, I'm just going to go home where I can make money. And that's it.
Democracy at its finest, Alex, when it comes to handing out punishments and bans by the commissioner of the NHL. Yeah, it's
Yeah, oh my God, we can go all day about the disproportionate bans and suspensions and punishments for players, and
yeah,
oh
it's
man.
definitely not consistent in any sense. As I'm just looking at the guys in the KHL, a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back over here is Kenny Agostino. And Kenny Agostino was a Leaf slash Marley most recently. The name I obviously recognize because I'm a Leafs guy, but
Mm.
played 27 games in New Jersey, 36 in Montreal, kind of bounced around and ended up playing the KHL this year where he has almost a point per game. He has 39 points in 44 games. He's playing really well for Torpedo Nizhny Novgorod in the KHL. He could be a guy that can make his way back over here. Still got some potential left.
Yeah, I agree. I like Agostino.
I always thought he was a guy when he was in
Mm-hmm.
Toronto that didn't really get a fair shot in the Leafs lineup.
You know what though? He like I said, it's not only Russian players that do this. He's a guy who said, "You know what? I'm only going to come, get called up and play 4 or 5 games. Why am I going to do that when a team in Russia will give me $2 million?"
Yeah.
And he's scoring a lot. And maybe he uses that to leverage his way into a bigger contract on an NHL team, and suddenly leaving to go play for Russia is good for his career. I mean, it's certainly good for his bank account. He is making more money right now, but than he would in the AHL. But uh, I would love to see him here as well and
Yeah.
playing for an NHL team.
Will Kovalchuk ever come back to the NHL? I don't think so. I think he's done. I don't even think he's playing this year, is he?
No, I don't think so. I think he hung
He's
him up.
might be. I don't know if he's officially retired, but he might be done.
And he's the GM. He was named as GM of Russian Olympic team.
Yeah.
So
I don't know
like
if
it's
that's
like
changed,
secured that
but
he wasn't even gonna like play at all. 'Cause I know we had Datsuk,
yeah, we had Datsuk. Datsuk
who
hasn't played this year either.
hmm,
I don't think.
I thought he was in the Czech, but maybe I'm wrong or something. Playing in the KHL.
No, but Kovalchuk, I think is done.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
tried his comeback a couple years ago, and he played okay, but he was definitely really slow compared to
Hmm.
the North American game has passed him by that way. But
Yeah, Datsuk hasn't played either, though he did score a goal in his very last game.
he's 43, so
The puck drop for the third period here, in Toronto.
yep.
Tierney versus Matthews. And Tierney won a faceoff. Good for him.
Yeah, Matthew's been really good on a drop.
Yeah, to change the lines up here a little bit in Ottawa, putting Tierney with Kachuk and Batherson, it looks like.
Shot attempts 54 to 20 for Toronto. That's
Mm.
crazy. Third period's just starting now. If you are watching the game along with us, or if you're watching any of the games tonight, a lot of hockey happening today.
Mhm.
It's New Year's Day, 2022. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're still here, really appreciate you guys.
Campbell's been looking pretty sharp. We talked earlier about a goalie not getting a lot of pucks on him, but as the pucks started to pile up, he showed that he's warmed up, he's dialed in, he is stopping everything that's coming at him, and they're coming at him more frequently, so he's able to like stay warm.
Yeah, huge mental game for goaltending. Do you think Yager is smart enough to become an NHL general manager, or do you think he's one of those players that's just an athlete? Um, Yager, I don't think it matters whether he's smart enough. I don't think he'll ever come back to be a general manager simply because he's the owner of his Czech team, right? Um,
I would like to. I He plays for his Czech team, Kladno. The
yeah,
only reason he's playing is so he can get the sponsorship and the advertisements for his team to stay afloat.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
believe like his father was also general manager or part owner of the team as well. And so like for him, it's like a family legacy to run that team. I feel like if he will do it forever, in my opinion, if the team goes under, I feel like he'll be like more devastated and not want to come back to be a GM in North America. Like I feel like if he's gonna come back, it would be for Cloudno again. He'd find a way to make the team come back. So I think he's gonna stay there forever.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he ended up over here as a GM. Maybe as like some sort of consultant scouting, assistant something in like front office of like the Penguins or something. But
Head of Czech scouting.
yeah, or something weird like that. But no, I don't see him as a general manager, Anthony. Just me though. A lot of ex players, a lot of good players that they're just kind of done after playing, and Auger might be one of those guys.
And not everybody has to have a hockey career after hockey. Not every player has to get into this. Become a coach or become a GM. So they can just live normal lives, be artists, be lawyers or something.
Do whatever they want.
Why not? Right.
Um,
Especially the more successful ones with a lot of money.
yeah, he's a guy who I wouldn't be surprised at all if he ends up to be a coach at some point later in his career. Is Jason Spezza.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Spezza, as soon as he retires, every team in the league should offer him an assistant coaching position. He is just so good to. He's so smart. Wow, that was a great save by Murray. He's so smart. He knows so much about hockey. He's great with the guys. He would be a great, players assistant coach on a team and possible head coach in the future. Just from what I've seen in Toronto.
Yeah, I saw a lot of him in Ottawa. He was captain for a season, and I agree. He's got a little bit. I don't know if I'd want him to be a head coach. I think it was just
No, not right
not my
away.
kind of head coach. Yeah, but like there's definitely something like he needs to be part of the organization, probably the Leafs organization. I feel like he loves it here. This is his city. When he played for Ottawa, he stayed in Toronto. Would just drive.
Yeah, I
So
remember reading about that back in the day. That's
yeah,
nuts.
I know. Imagine dealing with the 401
That's not
because
like
you
a
like the city,
4-hour commute because you like Toronto so much. You live here and you play in Ottawa. That's nuts. That's
right?
actually that's that's commitment to Ottawa.
hmm
Oh my lord.
And so like I feel like he's gonna stay with Toronto. He'll join like Keefe on the bench. And that's it.
Yep.
Just and instead of in the jersey and uniform, he's in a suit.
Yep. Yeah, I think Toronto will bring him back at some point. Are you surprised that Mike Modano hasn't joined an NHL front office like you see Chris Chelios or Brendan Shanahan? I mean, every good player, they're not all suited for general manager roles. Steve Yzerman is another guy that was a top player and ended up to be a really good general manager, but those guys are rare. The Yzerman, Shanahan, crew, there's not many of them. Like guys who are legends and also became very good coaches or GMs. Like
I
even
think
Wayne.
Madonna is something though. He was hired by Minnesota Wild as an executive advisor in the front office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of guys still work in hockey, but like to be a general manager is it's a hard job. Not everyone is suited for it. Even
And
guys
it's
like
not just knowing players or anything. There's a whole financial aspect, merchandising,
running a team.
advertising. Yeah, you're running a company. That's not just like not just like, like a GM mode on NHL games. There's a whole other side to it that's just, money and accounting and finances in it. That's whole, being, part of the front office, being, president of hockey operations, something like that, I can
Yeah.
but a lot of players I just wouldn't trust being, in charge of everything, as a general manager. That is a huge responsibility. I think that when we see teams looking for GMs and we see it kind of like seems willy nilly. They have to put a lot of attention and detail into the guy they're picking because this guy's gonna run your team
Yeah.
like every aspect of it, top to bottom.
The start of this period has been kind of nuts for Ottawa. A couple goals that probably should have went in, but Matt Murray getting like just a piece of it. Couple chances there, bunting, and now that play just happened in front of the net.
Yeah, Murray's been pretty good this period. Thought he's been a little bit shaky the whole game, but overall has been all right considering it's his first game back after getting sent down and only played 2 games in Belleville. One was really bad, one was pretty good, but not enough time to condition, in my opinion. He was sent
tough.
down for conditioning, and it's didn't really get that. So obviously they didn't anticipate the all the COVID postponing of the games and everything. They were hoping for him to get more, but I'm just surprised that he's playing now.
Yeah, me too. When I heard he
Mhm.
was a starter today, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right then.
I was thinking maybe Philip Forsberg, just a few more games for Matt Murray in the AHL. Just, start the year, get 2 or 3, then come back up.
Yeah, you combined your two goalies. You said Philip Forsberg,
Oh, there's Forsberg
Anton
is
Forsberg,
Anton Forsberg. Yeah,
and
that's
Philip Gustafson.
yeah,
There's a
Philip
Philip
Gustafson.
Forsberg in Nashville, but it's not that
Yeah,
one.
the forward. Yeah, I would love to have him in Ottawa.
Anton Forsberg, Philip Gustafson. They are together Philip Forsberg.
Mhm. And Anton Forsberg, he was not playing particularly well, but he had a pretty said the
He was winning.
last say 8 or 9 games, with Ottawa played really, really well, and a lot of it's just the team. Team's shitty in front of you. It's hard to be a good goaltender sometimes.
I'm happy for him just in the sense that he gets to stay in one spot for a little bit because last year he was like
Yeah.
4 teams all last year. He was in
Mhm.
Winnipeg and then he was in Ottawa, all over the map. Edmonton, I think at one point claimed him. It's all over Canada trying to figure out
Mhm.
which team was going to end up with him on waivers.
Yeah, and I feel like he's not gonna stay in Ottawa. By the end of next season, I feel like he'll be gone. But
Yeah, he'll get
he's
pushed
made
out by the
yeah,
prospects.
but he's made a good name for himself to find a spot somewhere else, and he's not just gonna bounce around and kind of hope for the best that like a team will be like, oh no, like I want Anton Forsberg as my backup or something. Like a team will actually want him.
Shots 33-14. I got rid of the tracker, by the way. It was acting a fool.
Yeah, that's how you
So
play him with it.
it was acting a fool, so I got rid of it. 3-0 Leafs going to commercial. 13 minutes left in the third. Fairly one-sided, got to say.
You know what? The score 3-0. That's not as one sided as the gameplay has kind of shown. Like
Yeah,
the score's kind of low considering it could have been much higher. I feel it could have been like a 6-3 kind of game.
yeah,
Both
just
goalies have been pretty
possession-wise.
good. Mhm.
But who predicted it right at the start?
3-1.
3-1. Who was that? You're still with us. Someone predicted 3-1. Sven Peak said 3-1 Leafs. So you're almost there. If you're still with us. The Ottawa's just got to score one. I said 4-2. That's a little less likely right now.
That was 3-1 Ottawa, so it was the wrong way.
Yeah. Anyway, 4-2 happens, I guess, if Ottawa scores 2 quick ones and Toronto gets an empty netter, I guess. The most likely way that happens. I'm going to hop away for 2 seconds, Alex.
I will maintain the stream. If you're still with us, well, we've got 13 minutes left in the third. Oh, he wasn't kidding. Ryan really had to disappear. Toronto up 3-1, 3-0. And the Winter Classic is currently ongoing in Minnesota as well. 6-2 St. Louis right now. I know end of the first it was 1-1, but the shots were really lopsided in favor of St. Louis. But 6-2 right now. I was just telling Ryan earlier uh, uh, could have expected that kind of score here in Toronto, Ottawa. Just with the way the shots and possession have gone in Toronto's favor, felt like it could have been a 6-3 game, 6-2 kind of game, and that is the score in St. Louis, in Minnesota, between St. Louis and Minnesota for the Winter Classic, which has looked great. I love seeing in the negative 20-degree weather players' breath, yeah, just coming off of them. And we are back to action here in Toronto. Thompson with a shot denied. I've really liked Lassie Thompson. I feel like he needs to improve his skating a little bit, but he's been a good two-way D for Ottawa. Any Ottawa fans in here? I'm guessing most are going to be Toronto. A weird scramble play, and Kerfoot using his hand to move the puck, but because he wasn't the center taking the face off, avoids a penalty. And I feel like a lot less space for the Maple Leafs early on. Ottawa was pretty good at defending the cycle, but I felt like gave a little bit too much space on the rush to Toronto. And ever since the sometime in the second, Ottawa's really kind of stepped up their D game, been able to play their type of D. And when you're the underdog, when you're clearly the worst team, you definitely want to have a start defense first, and they've done that. And I feel like Ottawa, going forward, they do have the building blocks. Still some pieces that they need, but they have a lot of the pieces there already, and they've shown a little bit this game that not too far away from being a big contender because Toronto is a pretty good team.
Hello again.
Welcome back, Ryan.
I am here. I'm away for a little bit. I end up disappearing my webcam when I go because people just look at an empty chair. It's kind of, I don't know.
Hmm.
Jack Campbell's record since the start of last season, last year's 32 wins, 930. Jack Campbell, man. Well,
Mrazek picking at his fingers just like I am.
he's chilling. He knows he's good for the night. Probably he's
Mhm.
see when he plays next. I haven't loved him for the Leafs so far,
No,
but
neither have I.
he's been okay. I liked Wall more than I liked Mrazek
Mhm.
enough.
I have never been a huge fan of Mrazek. I think he's all right, and nothing against him being an NHL goaltender, but as a starter, I wouldn't want him as my starting goalie.
No, he's never been the starter. He's been the
Hmm.
1-1A guy. Like,
I would never have the
take some
one. It's
pressure
just a
off of
solid
Campbell.
two. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have him a 1B. Solid two. So.
Take some pressure off of Campbell anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, better to be prepared than unprepared, right? Especially for a team like Toronto. You'll if you make one mistake, you get bit, especially by the media. I've really liked Eric Brandstrom's game. They've given him PK time. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, they finally given him
Really
his chance.
responsible. Yeah, really responsible with the puck, and they pair him with Lassie Thompson. This is a young Finnish line, or I guess Finnish and Swedish. I guess a young
Yeah.
Northern European defensive pairing that I guess it's kind of like their deep pairing of the future maybe here.
That was Austin Matthews in the slot. That was dangerous for Ottawa to do. Not the guy you want in the slot. Coming up to the halfway point of the third here. We'll be streaming the rest of this game, maybe a little bit afterwards. Our thoughts. If you are here from other videos, welcome. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
And it's been a very back and forth game. Obviously, Toronto's had like a lot of possession, but there haven't been a lot of whistles.
Yeah, it's been very back and
Puck's
forth.
active,
As
yeah,
far as,
and
active pucks. Tavares there.
Mm.
He like tripped and then lost his stick, and it was the whole thing. Yeah, Murray's looked sharp though. He's been okay. He's been steady in there, I think.
Mhm.
Got to make
And
a
like,
couple.
despite, oh, ouch. I think that one, that Matthews in the slot might hit Brandstrom in the head on the way to the to the net. Oh.
Matthews looking to the sky like he just missed the corner, and I think he did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing the same commercials I am? What is this Energizer Bunny commercial that keeps popping up?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
What kind of terrifying commercial? What the heck?
It's supposed to be cute. It's horrifying. It's like death.
Companies get too far with their mascots sometimes. They accidentally make them terrifying. The Energizer Bunny is it's getting to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit too insane. Like the Burger King for a long time. It was just terrifying. Staring face mask looking at
No,
people.
they leaned into that. That was the point.
They did.
Right?
They ended up leaning into
it.
They
just because
didn't.
It was so creepy. They had the Sneak King game where you just sneak up on people and be creepy. What a fuck.
What a weird mascot.
Awkward. In an awkward era of Burger King having Xbox games. Wow.
It's the dark ages.
Yeah.
It really was the dark ages.
Mm-hmm. I remember trying to I was pretty young, but a teenager trying to go to your local GameStop, EV Games or whatever, and trade in your games for credit, and them looking at the Burger King sneak game Xbox 360 and just being like, what? How do they could not value it for me. That was they wouldn't even take it because they're like, I don't know. Is this super rare and worth $1 million? Is it junk worth a penny? Who knows?
9:45 left here in the third. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Still all Toronto.
Yeah. This is how the Leafs are supposed to play the Senators, right?
Mm-hmm.
The last couple years, they've kind of, for lack of a better term, I want to poo-poo on the Senators too much when you're here, but they've played down to them a little bit.
Yeah.
So the Leafs, for lack of a better word, being very dominant this game is a good sign. Leafs have historically played down to the less skilled teams last few years, and if they can start to really dominate these games with ease, get through them, get 2 points, move on, that's a good sign.
I feel like it kind of goes back and forth where Toronto will have a 6-1 win over Ottawa, and you're like, yeah, that's the game we're supposed to play, and then they'll lose to them.
Yeah, they'll
4-2, and it's like, oh no,
Oh, geez, what was that?
Oof, turnover right in front.
Who's that? Spets? Don't do that.
Foreman
Spets.
keeping a.
Spets is like, thanks, Jack. Ooh,
right.
He knows. He knew right away. He's like, oh Lord, what did I just do?
Jack gave him a look.
Yeah.
Look after hello, sir. Please don't do that.
He looked right at him like, Spets, what are you doing, buddy?
So it's like, well, you're kind of just sitting there, and then the puck flies in front of you, and you're like, oh, I don't like that. And it hits the guy, who on your team. You're like, oh, I don't like that.
Jack's a good guy, though. He's
Yeah, he had a
That
smile
didn't
on
go
his
in.
face.
He's all right with it. He's like, you know what? I got you. Don't worry.
Mhm. And Thompson Brandstrom, this pairing for Ottawa, getting a lot more time.
Yeah, toward the end of the game, I've seen them a lot.
Hmm. And at the end of last season, Shabbat was injured, and that's your defenseman for half the game, literally.
Yeah,
Like, he was playing over 30 minutes, and then he's gone. So Ottawa had to like adjust, and that was when they were playing that all right streak of hockey when they were winning, going like into the end of the season, and uh, you know, Brandstrom looked all right then. I feel like there's some hope on Ottawa's decor here. Their group going forward, I really like Jacob Bernard Docker, Lassie Thompson. I'm not too huge on Eric Brandstrom, but I still think he has an incredible puck moving ability and just a beautiful passer. If you watch him pass, every puck just kind of like floats through the air with like grace. It's great. But yeah, I feel like they have a lot of hype going. I hope the hype up their decor going forward. So
yeah,
we'll see.
that's some potential. I think the Ottawa
Hmm.
Senators, especially on D, especially on D.
Yeah, I feel like
Guys lose their
the
prospects.
prospects on forward have all come up. You have Kachuk, you have Batherson, you have Formanton, you have Norris, you have those guys. Like your future top six is
Dusley.
pretty solidified. Sheen Pinto, he is injured, but he is looking like an NHL kind of guy.
Yeah.
Defense is a few years behind, but those guys are still in the system.
Yep. I'm surprised. I'm sad I didn't get to see more of Jake Sanderson play in the World Juniors. I was excited to see
Hmm.
him and Tyler Clevin for Ottawa.
Yeah,
Just for your sake,
same.
the American team was filled with some Senators.
Hmm. Yeah, the Senators have been drafting out of the U.S. more frequently. I've
Yeah.
noticed. Kachuk, Sanderson, Clevin, like they're really Tyler Boucher, like they're digging really deep in
Yeah, they
deep.
reached for Tyler Boucher, I guess, because they really liked him. They really liked the U.S. program.
Yeah. And Tyler Boucher recently signed his entry level contract, and since he's not joining the Ottawa Senators, that means he goes to the OHL. He's going to play for the Ottawa 67s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which means after one semester, he's dropping out of Boston University.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I'm 50-50 on.
Yeah, I saw
I
you on
get,
Twitter about that.
yeah, he can make more money now. Sure. Maybe he thrives in, an auto like in the 67s and, and in the OHL, but I feel like that there's something to be said about, like doing well in school and like a core kind of like that commitment and what that shows to your commitment to hockey and your dedication and also just having an education when you play a physical style of hockey like Tyler Boucher does. We've seen a lot of physical players just like him. Oof, Nylander with a goal, amazing, beautiful breakaway. Sorry, on that point, physical players who kind of, at the end of their careers, retire due to
Really?
physical injury, and that kind of negates them from being able to do more after their NHL career. And I worry for a guy like Tyler Boucher when he's done. What does he have in his life? And if he doesn't have an education, and if he has some kind of physical injury from a very physical NHL career, would that limit him? And we see guys like Evander Kane who can, in a few seasons just gamble all their money away. A lot of NHL players do deal with debt despite having made a lot of money throughout their life just because it's
Yeah.
not managed right. And I
Those
worry
are
about
those
that
are
kind of stuff.
extreme circumstances, obviously, but
Hmm.
I do agree. The having an education is, I think, is still important for a lot of these guys, but it's a tough
I'm
decision.
definitely
It's a
thinking
tough.
extreme. I'm definitely like overthinking and being worried about a guy, but
Yeah, it's there's always the possibility you can go back to school. Like I know some NHL players have gotten been in school during their NHL careers too. Like
Mhm,
that's there
mhm.
he has options, I think. And right now for his development or from a hockey stance, and that's obviously
Yes.
what he's striving for the most. I think signing the contract with Ottawa and then playing the OHL, I think that's probably best for him from
Hmm.
a short term or hockey perspective. But that's his career, so if you want a chance at it, you know,
Yeah, similarly,
risk it for the
this
biscuit a little bit.
it guarantees his money in a sense that he is signed,
Yep.
he wasn't signed before. So if he was injured in Boston playing this physical style of game and never gets signed, then he never makes money at all, and that's his whole
Yeah.
career down the drain.
Yep, it's it's a tough decision, and so, these guys have a lot of people surrounding them. They have their agents, they have their parents, they have
Yeah.
a lot of voices. So I'm sure Tyler Boucher has been well taken care of. I'm excited to see him play in Ottawa. I didn't actually know that. I knew he was signed, but I didn't know he's playing for the 67s.
Yeah.
67s need his help. Tell you what.
Ooh. Mikheyev with another one. Power play goal with 5 minutes left in the third.
There you go, Mikheyev. There you go, buddy. 2-goal game for Ilya Mikheyev. That's awesome. That's what you want to see. People are really down on this guy because he has no finish. Finished 2 off tonight. He was really, really good. People forget. He was really good in his limited games he was playing as a rookie in his first year. So he got hurt, that crazy freak injury with he got his wrist slashed. Before then, he was playing amazing. And then last year, the bubble really didn't have it back. If he can figure it out again and really figure out how to put the puck in the net, oh my lord, this could be a great thing for Toronto. That third line.
I'm a huge fan.
That third line is incredible if you get it going. That Nick Ritchie deal is looking less and less good if Mikheyev figures it out. Obviously, Nick Ritchie scratched tonight. Here, Engvall in the fourth line spot with Spezza and Simmons. But they'll probably flip back and forth over the next little bit, Engvall and Ritchie. Barring injury, of course. Bunting seems to have a stranglehold on that first line spot. Kerfoot's playing well on the second line. KF starts playing well on the third line. We're running out of spots for Ritchie to be.
It's just a good problem to have, but when you're a cap struggling team, maybe not so much.
It's a good problem to have if Ritchie's also playing really well, right? It's less of a good problem if you have $2.5 million into a guy who you can't find a spot in your lineup for. If he was playing well and it was like, holy crap, we have too many left wingers and we have to move them all up and down the lineup all the time, like that's different. That's a good problem.
Yeah, he's been bringing like the physicality, but not the scoring. Okay. Yeah.
I haven't hated what he's brought, but yeah, he definitely needs to score a little more.
Like you predicted to start the season, you wanted him to have 20 plus goals, 50 plus assists. Like you were hoping for him to have like his breakout, his career year, and
yeah, I was hopeful. I thought he'd bring a little bit of toughness, a little bit of sandpaper to the top six, and work really well with either. At the time, it was either Mitch and Austin or Tavares and Willie. So I thought he would have been a great addition to either one of those lines, but he has not stuck in any of them.
Wow. Blast from the point gets tipped in front by William Nylander.
Woo-hoo. Blast from William Nylander.
Oh, was it his? I thought it got tipped in front by him. Oh, wow. That was all him.
Oh, that was him. His shot, I think. And it's all falling apart for Ottawa here in the third. Let's go.
That just went clean in through everybody. Went through 5 bodies.
Willie with 2 goals in the third. Yeah, that's tough. There are so many bodies in front that gets through at all. And then it was a good shot too. Woo. Willie with a good game, good offensive game. 6-0 Leafs.
And I know I've said this before, I'll repeat it again, but William Nylander will never not score with Toronto. He plays a puck possession type of game that just fits him. You see on this goal, he just, kept the puck, walked around, just at the blue line, holding on to it. Like that's his style of play is all about puck possession. And on a Toronto team that emphasizes puck possession, you'll always score. You'll always be getting huge chances. You look at, some of the other guys on the roster that are so skilled but aren't scoring at times. Like it makes sense to me, their skills aren't exactly fitting. And for Nylanders, it's just click, click, click all the time.
Yep. Ever since Keefe became in charge of the team, he's really, really started to play really well offensively. So definitely part of the reason is he plays that similar, just plays the style of game that Chiefs want to play. Justin Hall here with a late penalty, still bleeding out of his nose. It looks like.
Yeah, his left nostril is just got a leak.
Looks like he kind of accidentally cross checks Connor Brown in
Yeah,
the face. Like that.
trying to reach for the puck and ended up just.
Yeah. They called it roughing. They could have called it cross checking, but
Could have called it
roughing's
a check
fair.
to the head. Kind of hit him in the jaw. That was the initial contact.
Yeah, a little unfortunate penalty opportunity or power play opportunity for Ottawa. Big kill for Toronto here as the game starts. Ottawa will be on the power play for the rest of the period unless they can get one.
I'd love to see them get one. Just one.
Sure you would.
To say that, they haven't been shut out in 2022 on the first day.
On the first day. Yeah.
On the first day. On the first day of 2022, my good friend got for me a 6-0 loss to Toronto.
Yep. That would yeah. That's what I want right now. I want to gift you that 6-0 loss.
Mm.
That would be preferred.
Oof. Mikheyev looking for his third and almost gets it, but passes it off to Kerfoot, who gets an amazing chance but cannot put it in himself.
This is what I mean with Mikheyev, though. Look at like the amount of chances he's gotten this game.
Mm.
He's put away 2 of them, and that's huge depth scoring. If he can start to do that more often.
And it's not. It's like he's always been fast, but now he's using his speed to get the inside lane and get a pass off that I feel like he hasn't been able to do quite as effectively before. Like he has elevated his game as well recently, on top of just being good and deserving more time.
Yeah. Obviously, he
And
was
of course,
injured at the
we
start
love
of the
that
year.
him out racing Connor McDavid. Oh my god!
Yeah, when we both saw that, we're like, wait a minute. Was that just Mikheyev and McDavid?
Mm-hmm.
That who they just outraced? Yeah, beat him to the puck. Beat Connor McDavid in a foot race.
I do have one prediction here that actually came true. I did say this could be the type of game where you get, Campbell gets 22 shots against and, isn't too sure. 22 shots for Ottawa in this game. That is
Did you
I
say
predicted
that?
Ottawa
That's funny.
shots. Yeah.
Yeah, 6-0 win for Toronto. Jack Campbell with the shutout. That was the only thing in doubt at this point. Great game for him. Big saves when he needed to. Didn't have a whole lot of work otherwise. This was all Toronto. 2-1 on the season series now, right, for this?
Yep, 2-1 for Toronto on the season series.
Breaking the tie. Maybe do some more live streams for the Leafs Sens games.
Yeah, we should. We watch them anyway. I don't know
Yeah,
why
I
we
know.
don't.
We might as well, right? Yeah, big game. That is it for the game tonight. 6-0, Toronto. Nylander and Mikheyev with a couple goals each. Good. Really solid game overall.
Mm.
What was the other game like? 6-2 St. Louis in the
Yeah, 6-2. You know, I was saying earlier when you were gone for a bit, it was 1-1 going to the end of the first period, but the shots were like 15-5 favor of St. Louis. Like it was definitely a one-sided game. The score didn't show it yet, so much like the Toronto Ottawa game here, 6 goals.
Yeah, Brody, Kerfoot, both with 3-point nights. Undervalued players on this team. I'm glad they get some points there. And Perron, Kyrou, Tarasenko, Barbashev, Kyrou, and Lewis. I can keep up with the goal. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, thank you everybody who's paid attention and followed us for the entire game. We really appreciate it. We got a lot of dope content on the channel here. Why don't you tell them about it, Ryan? Tell them what
Yeah,
we got going on.
we got a few things going behind the scenes. I don't want to necessarily give it away too much, but you just finished a video that I'm excited for. Today we got some plans happening for the channel, obviously with the World Juniors being canceled like they were in the Olympics, the NHL players not going. Kind of a bummer for us. Yeah, we got some ideas. We got some things brewing. Like we said, thanks so much for watching tonight. We really appreciate you guys. We had a pretty consistent, comment, chat feed going on a lot of the game. Anthony Manzano, big MVP as far as the questions are concerned. We love answering you guys' questions. Talking hockey. We love talking hockey with everybody. So that's it for us for tonight. 6-0 Leafs. Go Leafs go. Ottawa sucks.
Oh, Ryan. That's so mean.
I'm gonna
Just for that, the Toronto Maple Leafs will go another 6 decades without a cup.
If no one knows behind the scenes, I have complete control over when the stream ends. So if I want to end it on Ottawa sucks, I could have totally done that, but I didn't.
Yeah, Ottawa sucks. Bye.
Yeah, thanks so much. We're peacing out of here. See you next time.